Arco 1964 here, another video looking at the racing coming up from theoretically today, Monday, through to Sunday. I only do a British race, not the Irish, because for some unknown reason Irish race cards don't do it more than 5 days in advance, so there's nothing whatsoever you can find about races taking place the weekend easily. It's not, I found it a little strange, frankly. First, say today at Kempton, we have a pretty valuable copy bet handicap steeplechase over 2 months, 4 furlongs, 150 yards. In fact, looking here, first time I think I've seen where it's actually a distance increase of 40 yards is obviously coming for today. I think that's the first time I've noticed that. I tend not to do these on the day, so maybe this haven't really come up before. Tuesday at Taunton, we have the long-running Arthur and Peggy White Memorial Handicap Steeplechase. That race was first ran back in 2017. In fact, looking at Racing Post website, it was in November and changed to this month in 2023. Huntingdon, a racing meeting I've actually been to. We've got 2 listed races here: Lady Protector's Mare Steeplechase over 2 miles 3 and under slightly below 2 miles 4 furlongs, and the Sydney Banks Memorial Novices Hurdle race. I think it's running longer than the Lady Protectress race has, and that's over 2 miles 3, 178 yards. On Friday over Wolverhampton, we have the Midnight seems to be some very strange names of betting. Midnight seems to be very strange race titles, like Ain't Your Grandad's Bookie, and it was very odd. Well, my 2 grandparents never bet, to the best of my knowledge. Certainly my mum's dad wasn't. If I remember, I got a bit wrong on gambling. He wasn't a fan of it at all, and my other grandparent, I'm sure, didn't either. It's always a strange way of running it, really, and I'm not sure really it's a very sensible advert from them at all, and I don't think this makes any sense. But anyway, we're sponsoring quite a few meetings these days, and we have, I actually hadn't read the title, Built for 2 Midnight, built for 2026, not 2006 handicap stakes. So again, okay, yeah, whatever. Sorry, I just found some of the race titles rather strange. But it's quite a valuable race, €4 plus, and it is just a flat, so 2 miles and just over half a furlong. Also Friday, another race meeting went to, that's last year, and this was North Wales National, over 3 miles 5, 142 yards, and in addition we've got the Wednesday Open Hunter Steeplechase over just over 3 miles. Sandown is another meeting I've been to at some point, this being the main race for the card here being with Jane Seymour, Mare's Novices Hurdle race. I'm pretty sure that this is named after the Queen of Henry VIII, not the actress. I don't believe Jane Seymour, the actress, is particularly into horse racing, and that is over 2 miles 3 furlongs 178 yards. And a couple of interesting races here with Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother Military Amateur Jockeys Handicap Hurdle race. Queen Mother, great fan of racing. Actually, last year the Art Society was actually a talk on the Queen Mother's interest in gardening, actually, in a warehouse back in far north of Scotland, and I think racing was mentioned as well, but I think mainly it was about the gardens really, but it was an interesting talk. Same meeting we have the Arthur Gregory Memorial Novices Limited Handicap Steeplechase. Now there's a race I'm looking up here which was last year, celebration of his 100th year. Obviously sadly the guy has passed away, not a surprise when he passed 100. Still a race now named after him, but slightly differently named. And the Grand Military Gold Cup over 3 miles and 42 yards. I'm pretty sure this is a race I saw Guy Disney win. The Grand Military one is the one I haven't seen, which is a bit strange because I was at the Jane Seymour meeting, but obviously I think that may have changed its day, I suspect. Or Chile ones I saw Guy Disney win. This one wasn't, in fact I haven't seen this one. Now an interesting race here, the Worshipful Company of Lorriners Handicap Hurdle race. I just don't know if they are. And they are indeed one of the ancient livery companies of the City of London. Well, there you go, I have to admit. It was not an organisation heard of before. My local track in Newcastle was a meeting I might have gone to actually. Some good racing here. But at the end I had other plans about those few days. So one thing had to drop out of things I was doing, and racing missed out. I mean, I've already been to Newcastle, going twice later this year, and I've already been once to Newcastle this year, so that was what missed out. But we've got some valuable racing here. At the end of the card for final 4 races. A valuable handicap over 5 furlongs and 1 yard. All these 4 races be €4 plus. Another handicap over 1 mile 5 yards, and then 2 further handicaps, one over 7 furlongs 14 yards and one over exactly 6 furlongs. Going to Uttoxeter, there's a pretty valuable Quimbet's Best Odds Guaranteed Handicap Steeplechase over 3 miles and 10 yards. A decent race meeting at Newbury with the William Hill Hurdle race, and you'll always forget who sponsored this one. The Togo Trophy, I always remember it as. It was when I started following racing a bit more in the early 90s. For Togo was sponsoring that. I don't see the sponsor of these days. It's going to go cup at that bit. So I don't see the sponsor very much, frankly. That is, guys, always 2 miles 69 yards. Won't make a stand as one horse. I can always remember winning that. race. We've got then the Game Spirit Chase, named after also Queen Mothers from the early 70s, over 2 miles 92 yards, a very well-known and long-running race for that one. Denman Chase, named after the legendary Denman, just over 2 miles 7 furlongs, and a few valuable races here: 3 miles 57 yards handicap hurdle, and Novices Limited Steeplechase over 2 miles 791 yards, and then a listed national flat race over 2 miles 69 yards. Warwick, we have the Kingmaker Chase, named after What the Kingmaker. I have to admit, I didn't know very little about What the Kingmaker until a few years ago. I started looking more into Wars of Roses, whose courses I was doing. I just almost knew vaguely about the race. I didn't know about him. A long-running race for Grade 2 over 2 miles 54 yards, and a veterans race over fences over exactly 2 miles 4 furlongs. Just a Warwick Mayor's Hurdle, 2 miles 5 and 5 yards. Now, I've mentioned someone, maybe, I'm not sure, I think in my video, I might just do for the racing I was watching today. I was actually at Muswell today. Tandry Stakes. I am not sure what it is the same race as the Leaford Derby trial was. I went to the Leaford Derby trial. The next year, then they took the race out of the schedule and placed it with Tandry Stakes, thinking, great, that's helpful. Go from Newcastle to a meeting to Lingfield, and found out the leading meeting of going to a race had been cancelled and taken off the schedule and put a new one in. Then I thought actually we were placed by a time. It seemed like it had, evidence I've got there. But now, somewhat of a time, Southwell have a winter Derby trial, as well as having the Tandry Stakes. It actually is now shifted from Lingfield to Southwell. I don't quite know the reason for this. The race company, I think, there's a little too much around meetings, shifting things around as we races. Completely forgotten that. It escaped me, where race which have shifted from Doncaster to Lingfield for 1 year, and then they went to Windsor, and it just seems having a bit too much. Tandry Stakes, though, it's been one here, but the question is this the same race as for Derby trial? I'm trying to find this out, because I will have to add it to my schedule of races to do, but if it is, I can't do it this year, because I do have plans on Saturday, which this is on, but I don't know, look to next year maybe. I'll have to try and sort it out. I don't really want to go for Lingfield for no blooming reason, frankly. It just gives, it's a cost money to aim for anything else. So I'll have to see, but that's a race on there. And finally, another meeting I went to last year, Exeter, and there's a little copy bet race I mentioned in my White Start video. Mentioning at the end of the video, a Novices Hurdle race listed with 2 miles 161 yards, and another Christie race here, the Mayor's Novices Steeplechase way in last year or year before, at sort of 2 miles 109 yards, and another Christie did look this up and is connected with the local area, and a couple of decent other races, a veteran handicap steeplechase over 3 miles 54 yards, and qualified for the 10th of Cheltenham Festival handicap hurdle 2 miles 7 and 25 yards.